A huge iceberg nearly the size of Greater London broke off near a research station in Antarctica. Now, experts inform that this is a second such split in 2 years, which is accelerating the loss of sea ice in the Arctic and parts of Antarctica. Now, the British Antarctic Survey said that the formation of...
While every other corner of this planet has been explored, traveled to, and written about several times over, Antarctica is shrouded in a cloud of mystery. The secrets lying behind the icy peaks and icy terrains have largely remained as such, secrets. However, Elon Musk has just revealed the terrifying truth behind Antarctica. What lies underneath the snow? Could humans serve to benefit from what Antarctica has to offer? Or should we cover in fear of Elon Musk's discovery? Join us today as we explore the hidden truth that lies up north. The world has turned a blind eye toward Antarctica. For far too long situated in the southernmost corner of the globe, Antarctica has often been described as the land of the unknown. This, of course, has to do with the treacherous terrains, the harsh and unforgiving weather, and the fact that there's been virtually little to no research done on Antarctica, which is a shame. Antarctica is the fifth largest continent, laden with mineral reserves, and home to some of the world's most fascinating wildlife creatures. There's a lot to be learned from Antarctica, but up until now, human technology has only been able to get so far. Cue Elon Musk, the visionary behind Neuralink, Tesla, and SpaceX, someone with an insatiable taste for knowledge and understanding. Scientists have long been fascinated with what lies underneath the cold, hard snow on the continent. However, they've only ever been able to send research groups to Antarctica in limited numbers and with few resources. In fact, at any given time, the maximum population living in the world's fifth largest continent has only been between 1,000 and 5,000. The unforgiving conditions, however, haven't kept scientists from making more than a few worldview-changing discoveries. Most recently, DNA samples dating back some thousands of years ago were found in the depths of the Scotia Sea. Scientists extracted DNA samples from depths over 584 feet under the seabed and believe the samples to have originated from diatoms, a type of phytoplankton. A point to ponder here: DNA samples dating back much longer were extracted from other sites all across the globe. Yet this particular discovery in Antarctica has been sensationalized more. Why's that? It all circles back to Antarctica's unlivable climate. The fact that scientists were able to find DNA of life forms several centuries ago in the cold, unforgiving region suggests that there used to be a time when Antarctica wasn't so cold. This, however, was a theory or a hypothesis that still needed more concrete evidence. Of course, this led to the second phase of action, which was to set out and discover fossils and other remains of plants and animals underneath the snow that would solidify the theory that Antarctica used to be habitable. Now, backed with tangible proof that life as we know it used to be vastly different on the cold continent, a team of brave researchers ventured into the depths of the continent, hoping to secure more information. This included a 5-day voyage through the deadly Drake Passage, one of the deadliest and most terrifying passages in the entire world. However, the team was undeterred in their pursuit of knowledge and eventually made their way onto James Ross Island, where the excavation process was set to officially begin. It was there that they discovered something remarkable: proof of life in Antarctica. For a while after the researchers had settled on James Ross Island and had begun to scavenge the area, finding fossils and such, it seemed like they'd reached a dead end. Notwithstanding the unforgiving weather, the terrain was virtually unworkable, and heavy-duty machinery was needed to scavenge through the land. Eventually, however, just when it seemed like all hope was lost, the researchers discovered fossil remains of animals and plants that dated back to the Cretaceous period. The fossil signified life on the surface of Antarctica from some 71 million years ago. This included the remains of dinosaurs, winged creatures, and plant life. There was more: the discovery of a winged, beetle-like creature that was believed to have lived on the surface of the cold continent some 21 million years ago, and sperm cells of a now extinct worm species that was believed to have inhabited Antarctica several million years ago. Their discoveries were enough to change the landscape of modern-day understanding of Antarctica and challenge everything we thought we knew about the icy wasteland. Scientists were now able to conclude, without a shadow of a doubt, that Antarctica used to be much different. The icy terrains were once covered with lush green vegetation, and the land that seems virtually uninhabitable today was used to home animal and plant life forms. Tropical climate, trees, rivers, and landscape could explain how dinosaurs and birds were able to inhabit Antarctica. Truly, they wouldn't have been able to survive in the region had it existed in the same form we see it today. This series of discoveries was only the beginning. The world underneath the frozen Antarctic Sea. Next came a 2021 expedition onto the cold continent, which unearthed remains of icefish larvae in the Antarctic Weddell Sea. Researchers were able to discover whole colonies of icefish and estimated that the entire colony held more than 60 million fish. The distinct creature that was abundant in the colony was the Neopagetopsis iona, better known as Jonia's icefish. Also in 2021, scientists released footage of their undersea expeditions. While initially it had seemed like any other routine expedition, one scientist reviewing the footage made yet another discovery. A whole colony of sponge organisms living underneath the Antarctic seabed. This series of discoveries that suggested Antarctica used to be a thriving tropical paradise continued into 2022 when a peculiar groove was noticed in the Larson's ice shelf. Researchers were certain that this groove housed yet another hidden lake and were prepared to add more research onto databases for existing discoveries. But what they found was truly astonishing. They unearthed a whole new ecosystem underneath the river, one that contained shrimp-like crustaceans swimming gracefully. While the plethora of discoveries was far-reaching, and the team that had embarked on such a journey was commended several times over, there was only so much that they could discover underneath the snow. It's important to remember that besides the cold, Antarctica is home to several underground volcanoes that erupt at any time, sometimes even in unison. This meant that researchers venturing into the Great Sea surrounding Antarctica, or within the lakes and rivers in the region, had to act fast. They were also careful enough not to disrupt the seabed and the very sensitive ecosystem. Speaking of which, while the team was collecting information nearby, their sensors detected underground seismic waves transmitted from the Hunga Tonga, a submarine volcano. There, as they looked on at the volcanic eruptions, the team made another startling discovery. What if the inhabitants of Antarctica had been wiped away by a series of volcanic eruptions? What if said eruptions were responsible for transforming the landscape of the cold continent? What happened to Antarctica? With every new series of discoveries made, the researchers went back to the drawing board and started mapping out new mission goals, courses of action, and such to make more astounding discoveries. One such discovery was of a 1,200-kilometer mountainous range underneath the ocean floor. It was determined that the icy peaks underneath the ocean bed were measuring to about a third of the Great Mount Everest. However, researchers couldn't venture deep into the ocean. It might have been physically impossible for researchers to dive into the frozen oceans and seas themselves, but they could team up with space agencies and use satellite mapping to uncover more details about the underwater Antarctic mountainous range. The information revealed via gravity mapping helped scientists discover more about Antarctica's position and significance in Gondwana, the supercontinent that once existed some 180 million years ago. Now, while the rest of the world saw a major shift in its climate over the last 180 million years, Antarctica arguably saw the most catastrophic change. Scientists have since deduced that the change occurred some 36 million years ago, during the Cenozoic era. They believe that global climate change caused a drop in the carbon dioxide levels, which in turn caused a dip in the average temperature. The result of centuries upon centuries worth of cold, harsh, and unforgiving weather is upon us today, a continent covered entirely in snow. A second theory, one that's more widely accepted, suggests that the changing temperature had to do with the ocean currents, and it started with a deepening of the Drake Passage. This theory had to be worked on more, and that's where Musk comes in. Through his companies, like Tesla and SpaceX, Musk promotes sustainable practices and renewable energy solutions. These technologies could play a role in reducing global carbon emissions, mitigating climate change, and indirectly impacting Antarctica's delicate ecosystem. Musk's interest in space exploration, as evident in SpaceX's endeavors, may also offer innovative perspectives on understanding and addressing Earth's climate issues. Revolutionaries such as Musk, with their vast space expertise, we're able to deduce the direct area where the Drake Passage deepened and how the changing ocean currents caused a shift in Antarctica's carbon dioxide levels. Recent discoveries in climate change theories suggest that the changes seen in Antarctica are the result of centuries' worth of silicate weathering. In any event, climate change has profound effects that echo even in today's times. Antarctica's weather is changing, again. In 2023, the cold continent saw a drastic change in its usual temperature. While the continent remained cold, the temperature around the Arctic Circle shot up by 6 degrees, the highest it had been in several years. While this shift might seem minor to some, it was enough for scientists to ring the alarm. The shift came with another startling and shocking discovery. The A76 iceberg, the largest in the world, has broken free from the Antarctic land and is now traveling through the oceans. The fact that such a massive block of snow is traveling through the ocean comes with a warning sign: flooding in areas wherever the iceberg goes next. The second and more obvious implication of an iceberg breaking away from the mainland is the rising sea level, which will in turn cause catastrophic results all across the globe. For more perspective, the glaciers we're talking about measure up to the Empire State Building's height. Icebergs breaking off glaciers or shelves can jeopardize ships in the Southern Ocean. Additionally, as icebergs melt, they release fresh water into the ocean, impacting seawater density and temperature. This, in turn, can disrupt global ocean circulation, affecting established climate patterns. In the broader context of climate change, the role of influential figures like Elon Musk becomes relevant. Musk, as the CEO of companies like Tesla and SpaceX, is involved in initiatives addressing environmental issues. While not directly tied to Antarctic research, Musk's influence extends to technologies and efforts combating climate change. His support for sustainable practices and investments in renewable energy aligns with the broader goal of mitigating environmental challenges. Musk's involvement could be seen in supporting technologies addressing climate change, exploring innovative approaches, or advocating for solutions to rising sea levels. Musk's influence indirectly contributes to the broader conversation on mitigating the impacts of climate change and ice dynamics in Antarctica. Antarctica, despite being Earth's least explored continent, holds critical insights into climate change, biodiversity, and the planet's geological history. Increased exploration is essential for unlocking scientific mysteries that could inform our understanding of global processes. Antarctica's ice cores provide a unique climate record, and its isolation makes it a natural laboratory for studying extreme environments. Enhanced exploration could unveil new species and help comprehend how life survives in such harsh conditions. Moreover, as climate change accelerates, understanding Antarctica's dynamics becomes imperative for predicting and mitigating its impacts on the broader environment. More comprehensive exploration is vital for preserving this pristine wilderness and advancing our knowledge for the benefit of humanity. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.